betimi asan danania mana ye na no ma me bi de cancer be we na awere ho pa wone ne ba girl ba kompe akwara na de 14 years old na ma me na nya stage 4 cancer was intimu nya bi intimi nya ho hwe ma me ye bo modern bia ye betimi nti ade a wosra ye ne se akwara woni papa woni nua woni busuani bia wa burukyire ha mi wuja no a check kura wonim kyero ani woni mortgage no wonye adwuma no watimi atua mortgage mesra mo ada aduro bia mbetimi de ama me momfa ama me kopem se menya ahoɔdene na ma kyerɛkyerɛ no fie ani ama ye kakra nsa na mawu na wokɔ maami hospital bed ho na fifire ate no na yayi ne baye free school mu no wotu no fo saa na nisuo te wɔn mmienu nyina ne fifira na awere ho akyire maami no aka kyerɛ nse me feel say me ba na ye ready to survive nti nura mode ma me bia munyai na mingu asomdwem ampa wowu jane ba na ho 1 in 7 women biada etie saa ne emenu aye possible so one hwe ya obenya breast cancer na atia si Africa so a ya ehu the worst thing is Africa for mania breast cancer usually aye triple negative aye more dangerous even abrochira ha kora no won wu more chen Spanish for any abrofu nyina tinansen alatani bi baye research to kwanko Africa nyina ko collect data to find out to say jamano ne yede aside black Americans a wonum di yanim ba abrochire ha yen cancer Ghana for nya enche ton woko Nigeria for the same Africa for near before wa abrochire ha nyina enti say ya make us American government ama Dr. Sertu Ochi na yire Cynthia sika boom no wode aha ne scientists for a wonum hye na se a wonum ye nhwehwemu Cynthia Africa for etanya cancer ekum wonum meba modern se me share me screen say me pamocho IT4 muhunu screen the role of diet in cancer prevention.
Dr. Mpachuani.
Denyamiase. And na ye besua se nnuane a ye die no bre bia da obakon a wabakon de aduane ahyewa no no. Eno na lead to cancer na ye betimi adi certain type of food a betimi a reverse cancer amayen. Sanya maami muhuni ya diagnose no with cancer. Wo wo no ha no korasa ne ma wo beja won ho. Bemma no bebo modern biara so obachekere ne wire de but wontim. Bemma so diagnose no pe odemrika no akotena ne computer ho. Obahwe bibia obehu no afa saa yade no ho. Sanya mede kan ye no. Nipa ka pem wonum de yade ahodo nyina call hospital ko ye sheda ye wonum nyina autopsy ye huni so ba bia wade 50 years corona almost more than half wa America ha and wa breast cancer bekum wonum memma so bebre and wo ade ye be hwe correlation between diet and cancer and because in 1968, na me take course be diploma in tropical diseases for London University. Na sa professor in ochra de wa Makerere University or Uganda. He invited no man ba my lectures. Ni dini this Dennis Burkett. One or describe cancer of the jaw first. Into one this cancer yatono, Burkett's lymphoma. Woma lecture no catch and say, Watena Uganda for 20 years. 100 hospitals in a day report to Brennan. Diagnosis in Ayarafo Bahonina. For 20 years, nipa ba kompenya heart attack. We are Uganda. Sa nipa no High Court judge who lived in London. And then finally, when he came to Uganda, he started eating the British diet, even in Ghana. And he is the first person ever to die from heart attack in Uganda. For 20 years, he never saw any patient with gallstone, not one patient with diabetes in Uganda, out of the hundreds of hospital reports that he went through. No, not a single breast cancer in Ghana and Uganda in that time. During that period of time, a similar study was done in Kenya. The whole country of Kenya had 18 breast cancers, while United States had 400,000 breast cancers, mainly because of what they ate. No colon cancer, no prostate cancer in 20 years report that he was in Kenya. This is the diagram he showed us, the PowerPoint he showed us in 1968. He demonstrated that the more constipated you are, when you go to the bathroom, if your toilet is so hard, you will need a big hospital because you'll be sick. Rather, if your bowels are loose, you only need a small hospital. And he was saying the people of Kenya and Uganda didn't get sick, didn't have huge hospitals because they never had gallstones, no heart attack, no diabetes, no hemorrhoids, no prostate cancers. But now people in America have changed the way they ate. People in England have changed their eating habits, and Ghanaians are changing their eating habits. So they are coming down with the white man's diseases. The more loose your stools are, the bigger your hospital. I mean, the more constipated you are, the bigger your hospitals should be. In fact, he gave his car to some volunteers and they will collect feces by the roadside, fill the car full of feces, and he will take time to analyze all those feces, look at when they ate, what they ate, and how long it took them to go to the hospital. And he concluded that the transit time was only about 19 hours. When the people in Africa eat, because there's more fiber in their food, they will go to the toilet quicker. The stool didn't stay in their gut for so long, and therefore they didn't have to have most of these lifestyle diseases. 2018, the Journal of American Medical Association published that poor diet is the leading cause of death in the United States. And it's causing millions of deaths every year. In fact, it went further that out of every 3 people who die in United States or in England, 2 of them died because of the food that they ate. 2 out of every 3 deaths is due to the food that people ate. And that is why the father of medicine, Hippocrates, says, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. We're going to study the relationship between diet and cancer today. One of the Indian holy men said, if your food is wrong, medicine is of no use. If your food is good, or if your food is the right kind of food, medicine is of no need. Aduane a wodie no, ɛyɛ refined food, ɛyɛ grocery store aduane aborɔfo refine ni nyinaa, na woyɛ ade a, medicine a war pharmacy biya ni hɔ a betumi make a difference. Ebekun wa to atwene. So wo didi years so a adura fredro wunhia if he say you will not have the diabetes, cancers, and high blood pressure and all those things that are caused by eating habits. Scientists all over the world are researching to find the cause of diabetes, cause of cancer, what causes high blood pressure. There's no need for that. The answer is in the food. If only they will eat right, they will find the cause of their sickness. United States nations did a very powerful research. They divided the whole world into 10 districts and hired thousands and thousands of scientists and developed 800 different studies for the scientists all over the world, including Ghana, Africa, Russia, to find out what kind of food causes more cancer. And this is their findings. World Health Organization has classified processed meats such as bacon, sausage, ham as group 1 carcinogen, directly involved in causing cancer in humans at the same rate as plutonium. Plutonium is a radioactive substance. If you want to eat sausage, whether it's a chicken sausage, pig sausage, beef sausage, turkey sausage, or vegetarian sausage, the way it is processed, and this study was not done by the Adventists, by the United Nations. 800 different studies all concluded this. Eating processed meat is the same as eating plutonium, asbestos, or cigarette. If you should smoke cigarette long enough, you will die from cancer. If you get exposed to asbestos long enough, or plutonium, you can guarantee that you will die from cancer in the same rate as if you ate these processed meat. What is processed meat? Hot dogs, bacon, salami, pepperoni, cold cut, tuna, salmon, the way it is prepared as processed meat. A picture is worth more than 1,000 words. I just took some of these pictures for you to see. These are hot dogs, ham, and all these processed meats that we are used to be eating, whether it's from pig sauce or cow sauce or bacon, turkey, or vegetarian, because it's processed meat. It's the same as eating plutonium, including the Burger King and hamburger stands. All these are processed meats, and they cause cancer the same rate as eating plutonium. These are processed meat. Because of the way that they metabolize, and we will study those. Apart from processed meat, these trans fats also will cause cancers. Health authorities all over the world have known this for over 50 years. Why then are they selling these processed food to kill the people? The answer is this: there is no money in dead people. There is no money in healthy people. If you're dead, nobody can sell you any drugs. If you're healthy, you don't need any drugs. All the money that the big corporations can get, they get it from those of us who are not dead, but who are also not healthy. We may have diabetes, and the intention is not to give you medicine that will cure the diabetes. but medicine to keep you live long enough so that they can sell you more drugs until that disease kills you. And now the campaign is to go to the secondary schools and look for the younger generations. Most of the older ones are dead, and they need younger customers who are going to come back and eat the same processed food so that they can get more money. And that's why they are constantly advertising these processed food, these KFCs on television, and the processed meat, Burger King, and so on and so forth. They are looking for other customers. The spirit of prophecy cautions us that let our food be of whole plant food, eaten whole. God has really blessed Ghana with plenty of these fresh foods. Dr. Dennis Burkett said for 20 years in Kenya, Uganda never saw one breast cancer. Now we're seeing every 7 women, one out of them will have breast cancer. Prostate cancer is also on the rise. We learned yesterday, when you go to the grocery store, stay close to the fresh produce. It is not by chance that nature has colored these foods with different colors. They could all be yellow, or they could have all been brown, but God had put different phytochemicals in these fresh foods to heal our diseases. I told you yesterday I went to Yeboah. 5 people have died in my family with kidney failure, and I was getting ready to die. When they told me to come for dialysis, I went to Yeboah Institute. This is what we ate. Fresh food, eating fresh, not necessarily cooked. There were some cooked meals though. Fresh nut. Anytime I come to Ghana, usually me konkoko ajosio. Seeds are a free northern Ghana nyina me to bebre na me de babro chira ha. Nyame shira Ghana for very healthy looking food. See ye di enoa, especially Tema West 7-day Adventist. I didn't come share say, if the children of Israel had obeyed the rules of health, there would never have been a feeble, a sick person amongst them. So for me, your health message na one more kwa just your kototo, beans in fruits in nasa who doing the year one muniane. The dana one monsa. There will never have been a one sick person among the church members. Me drew hot na my blood pressure was over 200, and I'm kidney failure on inti. And ra, ye did treat kidney problem and we are seeing the best ones na na me taking into means ano. And we are away for just 3 weeks. I bring in my kidney function GFR no from 20, cut off year 60, all the way to 65. 65 and I'm the so I'm the the same way one might hypertension call no one would they got well. Mammy back one and down to me so for 25 years and I know why you're diabetic and no maybe our bone insulin near an enumerate 10 days 1, 2, 3 to 10 days of eating this food, you know. Or tested in the moja no baby was it Paul or born me puno but testing me moja mammy if he said my fiddy na say for the first time in 25 years the blood sugar was normal. Obiada or yare diabetes or yare high blood pressure so be changing in new and there is no doubt to say yansusu ye be well. Bra me call honor na cardiac surgeon. ya wo pai nipa komam san fa bi replace no ono so wo hobby say duro bi wo drug store timi say ade a nko won ne be hu no wonim how to treat heart problems nso wajani nyina go ho no wo ho wo di sa anuane bi eat whole plant food eating whole mitimi kono masesa ne say bebre madi emu ba konkora ni ho a eye namunuane plant food na adesua be kwa wie no ne yatimi ahu no United Nations na cancer processed food biada a cause of cancer. It was a processed food cause irritation. Irritation is a self found satia now robo on sa cells no be change be mutate na cause of cancer. The reason why these foods, processed food, cause cancer is the way they get metabolized in the body. Some mubia ko aboswa kan pen anasa mwako magazine. Wa hunu se one my year welder no wo ye welder no bo se net ti jasa. Wa obedi sa nuani bia bi no. Ade a ekoso wo moja mu no. Ekoso ade bi e friend free radicals. Etiti jasa. And what the free radicals do is they shock the cells. This is a normal cell. Look at how many free radicals are destroying this normal cell. They will keep beating on it until the cell almost dies and changes its shape. So a normal cell has now become a cancerous cell, and then it grows. It keeps growing, multiplying. It's not completely dead, but it's not a normal cell anymore. 1 year later, they are still small and localized. Before you see any breast cancer, you go to any doctor and he says, I feel any nodules in your breast. The cancer cell has stayed there for 8 to 10 years, growing before any mammogram machine can detect it. And during that time, it's getting ready to kill you. There is no breast cancer that has been completely cured yet. It's only a matter of time, or any cancer that is completely cured. In medical science, if you get 5 years after cancer surgery, it means you have survived. Whatever happens to you after 5 years is nobody's concern. But this is how cancer cells start. You eat those free radicals, and one cancer cell will, or one normal cell will change. But it doesn't matter. You can have one cancer cell, so long as that one cancer cell sits there and doesn't bother you, you don't have to worry about it. They did a research recently, 30-year-olds who died from car accident and were sent to emergency room. 30% of them had cancer cells in their prostate gland. 30-year-old women who died from different causes, and they happened to do autopsy. They found that 30% of 30-year-olds had breast cancers. Then they went further and did some more autopsies on 50-year-olds, and they found that 50% of them all had breast cancers that hadn't grown big enough, but taken its time to kill them. One cancer cell doesn't bother me if it sits there by itself. But if you make a mistake and eat a certain type of food that will cause the blood vessels, your veins, or your blood vessels to feed the cancer cell. This is a one cancer cell sitting by itself, not causing any problem anywhere. But if you eat the kind of food that will cause the cancer cells to grow, blood vessels will grow and feed the cancer cell. And eventually more will grow. and the cancer cell will get big and then metastases or spread to the neighboring organs. While the cancer cell is sitting there quietly, it doesn't hurt anybody. Most of us have cancer cells in us. So long as we don't feed it, the moment you start to feed it and eat the wrong food, it multiplies by 16,000 times. 16,000 times every single hour until it spreads and kills you. So nowadays, surgeons are using, most physicians, we call it angiogenesis, where a blood supply will grow to feed a cancer cell. So physicians are using anti-angiogenic therapy now. Instead of treating the cancer, they are cutting off the blood supplies that feeds the cancer cell. And they're having tremendous success. Here is a breast cancer. And here's the other breast. The first week, they started treating this breast cancer with anti-angiogenic therapy by cutting off the blood supply. In 4 weeks, the cancer has completely disappeared. President Jimmy Carter, he had a brain tumor cancer recently. They used the same method of anti-angiogenic therapy. Before treatment, you can see the cancer cell sitting here. After a short time, the cancer cell had completely disappeared. And doctors are doing a lot of research along those lines. This dog, Boxer, has a neurofibroma, a very deadly cancer. They made a cream from the anti-angiogenic medicine, put some of the cream on the tumor, and mix some tablets of anti-angiogenic medication and gave it to the dog. Mix it with the dog food. 7 weeks later, the tumor had disappeared. Nobody cut it off. They're having very good result with that. This horse had sarcoma, a very deadly cancer of the lips. And they put some anti-angiogenic therapy on it. Today, the horse is clear of cancer completely. God in his mercy had put some of this anti-angiogenic therapy in our food. Even if you have cancer, you can eat to starve your cancer. First of all, what kind of food causes the cancer cells to grow, causes the blood vessels to grow to feed the cancer cell? It is called IGF. Where do we get IGF from? The very food that will allow this blood vessel continue that way, but grow cells towards the cancer. Your friend, IGF. Yenya IGF no free baby as a nam ehunsuo. See a whole nam no say ye fresh from the sea. Unwanam biada. Say ya koko, say ya turkey, say ya punchy, say ya dien. Nsuo no ewo ho no. Eno na ma blood vessels grow. Mirikaso sa cancer say ye to we enye hwe en ha obia. Na we brebre kofa aduane anam wo mu. Any animal food. Say ye kosua, say ye butter. Say yeah, the dairy products are at the worst of all, no dairy products. And my cancer say 16,000 times. When we are anyway, you're rich in anti-angiogenic properties. It is a way area. San you are necessary dim bebre, and a pena mene, the Bordeaux, the dinkomo. and was sending me Sanya me was if we do anti-angiogenic properties be brave. Sa beta lemon ekum diabetes more chain insulin bia. We are no try a hosia, no try a hosia. Ya main ball san roin yana cransan wobo nipa fi so nim say ya so odene. Ni ansasi dear no ye bedi. No say beloved, I wish above all things that you be in good health. Or more ye korano no di nuro any different colors. Afrafra ye nuane. Elder Bordeaux, nuane a de bre me me hu letters won na me kon ado aduane. Was it among we free one of those na wahwe sabo free yesu hoy. Everything in nature obeys God. Niema yesu bo free obeswan sa wono bo free no wonni bida. Sene baya nipa be hunu na ye ne fe no akoti bia dia ma ne ho atono. Everything in nature is serving nipa. Everything in nature obeys the creator except human beings. Bofrey niema esuni wo mati bi nida and one fa bi nsuma ne ba nipa nti hwe we call pitches here from thousands and thousands and thousands of acres esuniama one nyina so sene be ya nipa dasani benya bi adie at the Bordeaux niama o debra mini bi was say free adan hwe watermelon juicy adie say nyame aboa Ghana ayedena tomakasi we yellow. Why is it yellow and this is red? They all have certain phytochemicals God has put in to heal us. The greens are even more so. Dr. Doris Day, an Adventist physician from San Francisco, she had a breast cancer. And she said, I'm not going to go on chemotherapy. I'm not going to have surgery. I saw the breast, more or less, he had 3 breasts. The cancer had grown out. He couldn't put a seat belt on. So her friend, classmate from Loma Linda offered to take the tumor out for her to be able to put a seat belt on. She grinded these vegetables daily and saturated the whole system, and you could watch the cancer shrinking until it disappeared. Never had surgery, never had chemo. God in his mercy has a sense of humor. And in Walker said, every Adventist woman should take their daughters to the kitchen at once and teach them how to prepare a wholesome meal. Every Adventist woman who would take a pistol and blow his or her daughter's brain out, in the eyes of God, you are just as a murderer as every Adventist woman who put the food that is going to kill your husband or your family in front of them. In the eyes of God, God calls you a murderer. And that's why he said we should learn how to cook a wholesome meal at once. Me call as the phobia for fear no or young quiet. No one sense your share si jaso. Na beans no book what a fine sa we are not in China to say banam kwani. Say near vegetarian kwanka will be a nibby come cry maybe. Senior mammy take a break. I said what be a name come. Also no amono no whatever more green water na pump now they are busy pronunciation. I didn't come she yen serve what be an and come and nipana betna one man who say one moody. Near at the Bordeaux de Bremino Bini. But the only mistake, he was saying that this is a very good vegetarian meal, but it's not. This is processed vegetarian food. You have to make your own processed food. And that is why Sister Esther is coming from London to teach us this evening how we can make our own processed meat. The ones that they sell in the stores is just as bad as eating chicken or whatever. Secondly, these dressings that you have put on, the moment it gets into the stomach, they will send message to the liver. That man had ruined a good salad. He's put some fat, French dressing or whatever that contains fat. Therefore, liver, set up your factory and produce cholesterol before we can metabolize this fat. And each time you eat something that is not appropriate and the liver sets up a factory to produce cholesterol, it takes about 3 weeks before the cholesterol factory is taken down. So obi mawabomu di na pretene so enwo wo so a oba hohoro pretene so sade ne a enhoho ba wo di samina so so say ko surface tension na break is pretene ya kama. You need cholesterol to be able to metabolize sa fat ya yedi ba ebia yebenya brachere cholesterol. Elder Bordeaux vegetarian ade na efe, but it's a way a processed meat and you're safe. You're just as deadly. And broya or debra me one say a biashie protein sawo shinwa for modern sound fankuan. We toast to kura na shia and yet safe to eat. When protein comes in contact with high fat, high heat, it becomes a potent carcinogen. And the abroya, I won't say any of the abroba we acid is such a massive for me. When you am kind of the Bordeaux and the Bremen of a Baniashian, but modern say, over to Nina to ago. All these fruits are common in Ghana, and God has indeed blessed us. Some of us make these smoothies. Is it good or not? We plan to discuss it on Saturday. But Sister Day, the surgeon at San Francisco, who had a breast cancer, this is the kind of smoothies that she made, saturated the whole body with it, and got well. Now when you see for treatment, these kind of smoothies, and so we didn't pee. Sentini say, you need to chew the food. If these vegetables or whatever they are contain nitrates, the cells on your tongue need to convert the nitrates into nitrites before you can swallow it into your stomach, and then the bacteria in your stomach will convert it into nitric acid that will cause your blood vessels to expand or collapse. Therefore, do not do too much juicing of fruits and vegetables. Anti-angiogenic therapy is where they are aiming at destroying the blood supplies. And there are certain foods that are very good anti-angiogenic. You can see the cancer cells within the circle. This is the tumor that is going to kill the patient. 4 strawberries a day, after a short time, all the cancer cells have disappeared. Cut off the blood supply completely to the cancer cells. God in his mercy has put a lot of anti-angiogenic properties in the food that we eat to kill us. Soybeans, the same, has destroyed all the anti-angiogenic. These are the new drugs that are being used as anti-angiogenic, especially the one for kidneys. Very, very, very effective. But these drugs are very expensive also. There are plenty of foods which have anti-angiogenic activities. Tomatoes, especially the tomatoes that you have cooked, the puree ones. You can eat tomatoes with your salad. but the benefits are not as good as if you had pureed them, cooked them and pureed them. It's about 50 times more effective. All the berries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, especially blueberries, oranges have anti-angiogenic properties. Lemons, apples, cherries, red grapes, red wine. I'm not saying go and buy the red wine. The red wine is red one because they use the grapes seed. The resveratrol comes from the seeds of the grapes. So why, instead of going to buy the red one and go crazy and get drunk, why not go and buy the grapes? Every resveratrol in the red one comes from grapes. Bok choy, soybeans, especially green tea, garlic, parsley, pumpkins, seeds, turmeric. These are all potent anti-angiogenic properties. How do I know they are potent? These blues, these blue lines are the drugs that have been made to act as anti-angiogenic properties. And the red ones are food from dietary source. And compare them side by side. The blue ones are no match to the red ones in treating all forms of cancer. The red or the dietary factors win hands down. Don't depend on these things. In 4 weeks or so, strawberries was able to get rid of these cancers. And in 4 weeks, this tumor was completely cured. All animal foods increase, or animal foods that contain IGF increase the growth of cancer cells, especially what you're looking at. Every single one of them, butter, margarine, milk, egg, cheese, are very potent IGF, cause every cancer cell in your body. So if you go to your doctor's office and he says you have stage 4 cancer, there is nothing we can do for you. Think of what you've been eating. 95% chance that the food that you bend your elbow and put it in your mouth is what has come back to hurt you. Harvard University did research, took 21,000 doctors who know what is going on and fed them dairy products more than 2.5 times a day. Most of us drink milk more than 2.5 times a day, or dairy products, cheese. At the end of the study, they found that they increased their chances of prostate cancer. These are doctors, by 34%. Then Harvard took 47,000 health professionals, fed them dairy products, milk, cheese, whatever, more than 2 times a day. 7 milk, two times a day. Increased the chances of prostate cancer, went up to 60%. Diet alone takes more than 60%, and these are some of the other food items. The question I want to raise this evening: when will we decide to eliminate cancers, diabetes, heart attack, blood pressure from our community? I can afford to ask that question today because we now know what causes them. When are we going to make a decision that we're going to change them? These are organic milk from well-fed cows, no medications, so on and so forth. And we're encouraging our children to drink milk. And in Ghana, the cocoa money and fast carnation no be nguma na obuafu. only to kill you. Listen to this carefully. There is a protein in milk called casein. Protein in milk called casein. When a baby wakes up and is crying and is hungry, the mother puts the breast in his mouth and he shuts up. Fill his stomach with the milk. And then suddenly he feels relaxed and goes to sleep because nature has put in some morphine, a very small amount of morphine, to relax the baby. Because babies only grow when they are sleeping. The moment they wake up, their growth mechanism shuts off. That morphine is called casomorphin. We have now found that casomorphin causes autism in children and sudden infant death. Because of milk. Human milk is a perfect food, contains 2.7 grams per liter of casomorphin. God has calculated the exact amount that we need. But you go to cow's milk, it contains 26 grams, 10 times as much as the normal human milk, and you pour it into the child's system. If you have ever seen a child with autism, and nasa wo baby yara autism, parents no so hunamai, opuano babia nye. Milk is causing more autism now than anything. This is the morphine, casomorphin. There have been a lot of scholarly articles describing this one. You can look and Google, go to Better Medical, whatever, and find out. Let me read briefly this abstract. There are brain regions, including the nucleus accumbens. The medical people in this audience know what I'm talking about. A certain part of the brain called nucleus accumbens, coded putamen, ventral tegmental median raphe nucleus, orbitofrontal lobe of the brain, prefrontal lobe of the brain, parietal lobe of the brain, temporal lobe of the brain, occipital lobe of the brain, and all of the above, read that, all of the above areas have been shown to be altered, either functionally, the way the brain works, or even anatomically in patients with schizophrenia. Any patient who is crazy and has the disease called schizophrenia, all this part of the brain is completely destroyed. And most have been shown to be functionally abnormal in autism. Because the mother gave a cow's milk to the child, he has destroyed the child's brain almost completely. And he's talking about casomorphin that have been detected in the child's urine because the mother gave him 10 times the overdose of the normal one by giving a cow's milk to a baby. And for the rest of the baby's life, he will never develop normally. These are some of kids whose mothers gave them. This picture is from England. And once you touch these kids, they begin to bite you. So they use pliers and pull off some of their teeth. How do they eat? And to commit your own child to this kind of life by giving them the wrong food. That's why Ellen G. White says for mothers who will take a gun and kill somebody, in the eyes of God, they are just as murderous as setting the wrong food in front of the family. And then Counsels and Die says, take your daughters to the kitchen at once and teach them how to prepare a wholesome meal. But the industry is still promoting the drink of milk, cow's milk. Unfortunately, most Australians are missing out on the health benefit that comes from consuming milk, cheese, and yogurt, as they do not include enough dairy foods in their diet. These big industries are putting false information, forcing the children to drink more milk so that they will become millionaires, even though they know they're going to hurt the children. That advertisement was put out by AstraZeneca and these big pharma. And in USA here, all the children lunches at school, they'll give them milk. You have to drink your milk. It's in a carton or in a bottle. Why do they do that? Because there is no money in dead people. There is no money in healthy people. All the money for the rich people come from those of us who are alive. And they want you to get sick, but not to die so that they can make more money. You ask them, oh, we give them milk because of calcium. There is not enough good calcium. There is better calcium in broccoli than in milk. All the countries that drink more milk have more osteoporosis. You can check me out. Don't take my word for it. Go and check behind me. Those countries that don't have osteoporosis drink milk a little bit, Kenya, and so on and so forth. Those countries like England, US, the higher your milk consumption, the more osteoporosis. If milk gives you calcium, why are they getting osteoporosis for drinking milk? All the milk you drink, you pass it through the toilet, the calcium in it, because the body cannot absorb it. I mentioned yesterday, and I'm mentioning again, men who receive the most sunlight have 50% reduction in prostate cancers. You get up in your car, drive to your office, go to the office till sun is down and drive home. Don't get exposed to sunlight. You will not have enough vitamin D and cancers will kill you. There are all kinds of things in the milk that we drink. We went to a farm. This cow was standing there with a big boil. We stuck a knife into it, and this is the pus coming out. And the United States government or any other government, wherever you get your milk from in Ghana, they allow them to put 750,000 somatic pus cells in the milk that you're drinking. Don't think it's that whole. There's a similar Harvard study. The human milk has the lowest protein than any other milk. Rat, 9 grams, because a baby rat has to grow up in a few weeks. Gorilla baby, 1.9 grams of protein. Human milk is the most perfect one. I put these slides in there to encourage our men to help our women go through this crisis. Breast cancer is on the increase, and especially Ghana, Nigeria, nasa black people. When I walk room black American for no Koran, one cancer, they die quickly. And we put them through all kinds of tests. The emotional damage, say ye betutu no for atwachene. A member sebi moyeren no for sisi mokoko umomodin sembabuawan. The mothers will go through all this problem. If only the mother has stopped buying dairy products and cancer, 40 or 50% of all the breast cancers is caused by dairy products. And prostate cancer, 34% caused by dairy products. And The other cancers, because of the hormone or in the milk and so on and so forth, the other cancers are 64%. So mommy woko di nanka wanto ice cream and a wanto yogurt and a wanto milk, she would have saved herself 50% chance. Oftentimes mothers will be asked to go and take mammogram. This is all that they are looking for. You see that tiny little cancer hiding in the breast. If the mother happened to have a dense breast, a skinny woman can have a dense breast, a fat woman can have a dense breast. If that cancer is hiding here or there, how is anybody going to detect that? The only reason that this mother, whose breast you're looking at, was saved is that the physician looked at the skin here. You see, it's a very tiny, thin layer of skin. Then all of a sudden, the skin got thicker. So he became suspicious and she did MRI. And see, the cancer is all over. The first doctor who looked at it, he says, "Manhunu cancer bia. There's no cancer." Yes, he's only a human. Wonhunu cancer won't even cancer mahunu. Na cancer no akoshe ha obede no hunu. Last year in America, 50,000 people died on kwaye mammogram because they have dense breast and went home and died. And in the US government has made a rule in some of these states. If you do a mammogram for a mother and she has a dense breast, you are required to tell her so that she can seek further help by doing ultrasound or mammogram or whatever. If you say, it is not easy to detect cancer cells from dense breast, dense tissue, more dense, and extremely dense. How do you detect that tiny little nodule in a dense breast like that? So mothers, when you go to do your breast screening, make sure that if you have dense breasts, you go further. Breast cancer, but most importantly, cut the dairy products from your diet. You will save your breast. Animal protein turns cancer on. Fish will do the same. If you eat 2 pounds of charcoal broiled tintinka, 2 pounds. If you're going to eat meat, you have to prepare it differently. That 2 pounds can cause 20 minutes later, we can, if we draw your blood, we find equivalent of you smoking 600 sticks of cigarette for eating 2 pounds of charcoal broiled steak. Animal food, whether it's snail, whether it's goat, chicken, whatever. See how happy the child is. Or mami akofa cancer cell. Yeah, I watch chicken. Yeah, from coast to coast, California to New York. Every restaurant they visited, they bought some chicken meal. Every single one of those samples contain cancer cells. The worst food you can put into your mouth is poultry-raised chicken. Poison one my turning chicken KFC no should put a warning say it contains cancer cells. Milk, ninyana. There is a powerful study that came out from India recently, but by these two men. They took the protein in milk, the casein, injected it into rats, and then gave them aflatoxin, cancer-causing whatever. And they found that the casein, the protein in milk, causes cancer cells to grow. When they gave them up to 20%, the cancer grew up. When they lowered the protein content to only 5%, the cancer shrank. Then they will increase it again to 20, and cancer cells will grow. The protein in milk will turn your cancer cells that are dormant on. The more milk you drink, the more you're going to die from your cancers. And this study was done with men's prostate. And those who doubt me, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. The studies are there. In fact, read this, Dean Ornish. They did a fantastic test. This is a prostate cancer, a person with a prostate cancer. They took their blood and put it on a plate and put some cancer cell in the blood to see how many cells those people were eating SAD diet, standard American diet, Kentucky Fried Chicken, hamburger, meat, salmon. During that experiment, their soldiers in the blood could only kill 9% of the cancer cells. Then they asked them for the next 2 weeks, don't eat any meat. They put the same cancer from the same person and put the same blood in it. And for being vegetarian for 2 weeks, the soldiers were able to kill 70%. The cancer cells shrank. This is a prostate cancer. See how it shrank after 1 year. All these studies are there for you to follow. Don't take my word for it. These are the citing. Gonzalez and Bernard did a beautiful test. They also did this not on prostate cancer, but on breast cancer. They took a mother with a breast cancer blood and put it on a plate. And then they put cancer cells on the blood and watch what will happen. Nothing much happened. The cells couldn't destroy the cancer cells. And for 2 weeks, don't put any dairy products in your mouth. Don't put any meat in your mouth. You see that the cancer cell had completely disappeared. By being a vegetarian, you make your blood inhospitable to cancer cells. By being on plant-based diet, you make your blood unfriendly to cancer cells. See, this is the cancer cell. They were eating standard American diet, the same chicken, the same meat, the same enwa. And the body soldiers couldn't fight them. The same thing here when they did, when they did the tunnel imaging of DNA fragmentation and cell death, apoptosis. It is amazing. The studies are there for you to look. These kind of vegetables will help with the free radicals also. Broccoli, collard green, bok choy, beetroot, and kale, mustard green, and so on and so forth. Let us rush through quickly, and there's not, but I want you to look at these. The highest source of antioxidants, if you're going to continue to eat those KFC and whatnot, it's going to turn into free radicals. The antioxidants are the fire brigade that will quell the destruction of the cells. All the blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, kale, spinach, Brussels sprout, that biada duane will be the fabifram. Herbs ahodoɔ, hibiscus, oregano, sage, peppermint, and so on and so forth. So ubedi saa nnuane no a modern say wode saa nneɛma bi bɛka ho. Don't depend on the government. There is no money in dead people. They know that. There is no money in healthy people. All the money that they have to make comes from sick people who will live long. And their goal is to keep you as long as possible so that they can get money from you. Cancer and animal protein. India studies now have shown that the number one food to remove from your standard American diet is poultry, whether it's turkey, chicken, whatever. Research has found carcinogen in every sample from coast to coast, the way the poultry is raised. Sometimes hydrocyclic amine, and Ra will be beside question B, say, doctor for see whatever, and pass all call doctor who some of them will say, don't eat red meat, eat white meat. You have heart attack and you have high blood pressure, eat white meat. Then ask that doctor why. Doctors are not nutritionists unless they've taken their extra course. Eat white meat means eat fish, eat chicken, eat turkey. Cholesterol-wise, red meat, beef is 89 milligrams, chicken, 85. So why would any doctor in his mind tell you to don't eat 89, go and eat 85? He's not doing you any favor. Eating one egg a day is equivalent of smoking 5 cigarettes a day. But most importantly, when doctor tells you don't eat red meat, but eat white meat, see the danger of that kind of advice. Hamburger, well cooked, you see 33 nanograms of hydrocyclic amine, very potent cancer-causing agent. If you take 33 nanograms, a piece of hamburger, 3 ounces, and you charcoal broil it or cook it and eat it, the cancer-causing agent in that is 33 nanograms. Steak, 30 nanograms. In chicken, 480 nanograms, cancer-causing agent. If the doctor tells you don't eat red meat, but go and eat white meat, exchange the cholesterol for cancer-causing agent. Don't believe me, Cancer Research 55 and this date from National Cancer Society. Is that doctor giving you a good advice? And the fact that he's a doctor doesn't mean that's fine. We need to study. There are Google things that we can confirm. Why should you, exchange 33 nanograms of hydrocyclic amine for 480? That is going to kill you. American Cancer Society, limit processed meat, choose fish and poultry. You would think American Cancer Society has all this information that I'm giving you. They do have it better than that, but they need to make money. And then he goes on to say, bake your meat, broil your meat, or poach your red meat. Go and eat fish so that you will exchange it for 480 nanograms of hydrocyclic amine. Bake your meat. And that is exactly, choose fish. They are not doing you a favor. And the fish also, what river did they come in from? PCBs. And in fact, the salmon you're looking at is called mercury sponge because they absorb all those toxins, plus the cholesterol of 85 instead of 89, plus saturated fats and pesticides and herbicides that have been put in the water. My mother biada, or they do near Bekuminipa, as in the Banim, God holds them responsible. Yeah, they bury na mama. Esther Bekasa, but look at United States statistics. America will better hospitals and better equipment than anywhere else in the world. In 1980, you check here life expectancy. They were number 11th in the whole world. They tied with Slovenia. They rank behind Cyprus. Today, they are running behind Kenya for life expectancy. Not because you say they don't have the money and they don't have the best doctors and don't have the equipment, because of the kind of food that they are eating. Was in 2006, white America would have been number 30th in the whole world. And black America would have been number 58 in the whole world. Ghana because of the kind of food. American Heart Association himself, beef, and of course cholesterol man nipanya heart attack. Go to their website and you will see them advertising for all this beef food. All the money is made by those who live long enough. This is the website for American Cancer. The American Cancer Association owns the Texas beef, the ranch, South Dakota beef, and Kentucky Beef Council. Susan B. Komen, that helps to bring awareness on breast cancer. Their pink ribbon is on your plane. Dairy product. Because you say, even though they have done tremendously to bring aware of breast cancer in the whole world, they are also committed. They own a share in KFC and your plain yogurt, knowing that dairy products will cause 50% of all the breast cancers they are fighting against. Danone, Diabetic Society, on these things. American Cancer Society owns a share in all these companies. That's where the money is. Kentucky, KFC. This is the owner of the KFC. Even the people who determine our food pyramid, they own a share in all these companies. So they are not going to make rules turn against them. Do not believe what the government is saying, but believe the spirit of prophecy. The question again, when will we decide to eliminate chronic diseases? We can afford to ask that question because we now know what causes them. Yeah, the basic for the next 30 minutes, Mama Esther of Free England, neighbor, and IT people, I want you to make him a call. Send a day out which I share the screen. And the first time I'm sharing, na broni bi ensa da na komo ne photo. Na mbisa mama, minimu ukunu panyini wiredu. Na broni ya ne ensa da komo wo boyfriend. Was it the mayor of London? Nam so mayor there than an ensa da komo was it. Baby amiya juman one more be functions. Big functions in the whole of UK. I are the one who do most of these things, and I do it so well. So they voted me the best worker. Osaya Adventist, of course, London main church. One Kasa creative website I watch Ghanaians how to prepare vegetarian and whole food diet. I told you, said the spirit of prophecy says God himself is going to prevent the spread of the third angel's message. And he will finish the work through the right arm of the health message, which is the third angel's message. Moko YouTube, Mobehuno, Mama Esther Kitchen. Yeah, 111, and we are nibibre. And then I'm so much basic things, how to do some milk. Na yeah, mayem yare basa. And I'm stopping to share my screen. Mama Esther, take all the time you need. Yeah, upon a night and help your people. The most bebre, IT for Momana Kwaman sharing the screen. Esther Viredu.
Dr. Mpacha is a met me about so straight to say, I'm okay.
We can ask you home. Come on. Mama Kosoi.
Me pacho. Yo na menchia me papa ni se nyansa emfiti ase eni Yeboah esuro. If you say so nyame ema ye nyansa yesuro nyame a ye nyansa efiri ne ho. Anumre ye nyina ye damwase se doctor de akoni ema bebre mu from Sunday no abedru ne. Na doctors me mekire se de ya ye betena ye fie na ya ye milk na ye nkoto de ye di enu bebre ne niema bebre di afrafra no entimi me chusu we fi se me se ne na ye nua Ghana fo no bia uko bia fie a wato we bi ene do munya so mo mpe Ghana de no omupe abrochire die no enie we no milk a ye mo ye gu ntonhwem a ye de ma me no mienu anoma e create ewuo ene yade e de ama ye ne ye ma ene ye kunu no enti ene ye pese ye tu we no etotwene na Awurade mmoa ye na ya intimate na ye fie enye ye milk na ye nini enya ahoden na ye nsu nyame ye wa ahoden a ene etimi su nyame nti me se doctor acheche ne ma bebre said ye milk de ye ne de enye ye wo milk ahodo bebre a eye good ne nyina no ye nya free enuamu ene enuaba ene asase ase eno na nyame de ma ye se ye ni nanso enam aduf enam adidi a ye pese ye di bros nti no ye fa de ni se ye di ena ye di enti ena ye be ye milk ahodo miensa minimum betu mi kapa enam set up nti se wo question bi na bebusa ana bibia enhame se wo beje me number wo doctor wo na wa frame me so menya abotre se me kirekire wo emu amanaye enti na milk na ye be ye no ye be ye milk ahodo miensa ese we obi anim oats Ghana oats obu pa ukọ baby abenya oats we utimi de ye milk utimi de ye cake utimi de ye banku obi bebusa sade ntia eya ade a ahoɔden wo me say doctor be kan wase oats ade a very good emeni pedua no eboa yen emiyini we the big way eba be ye milk sisi a ye be milk awodom yensa la kuso ye almond seed ese doctor kasa mo kan bebre we ye almond seed me call Ghana na anu ya me sa na me kwa na mka say almond ni Ghana ti me ko masisa almond bebre agu me niam me call jo ayi a almond bebre wo Ghana nyame ehira Ghana pa wo hira yen nti mo ma ye ntu me kan ni di abrofo no eye ni bebre na ye to a ye di gu ntontura mu no mo ma ye ntra say ya ye betena ye fie na niema nkitinkiti bi ebetimi aya ebeboa wo ya pomden ene ye ma pomden no moma ya no yenye na emboa ba kusunu ye be ye coconut milk ene we Ghana me kwaya na water kwa de pa we ebu ba kokra nu say 50 pesos say 20 pesos 20p kube aho eno betimi de aye milk sa kube kro ya no ubetime de aye anwa wa ukube nwa eye niema bebre enti no ye be ye niema miensa ti me pamocho ma kirechire mu awie no me horo mensa ni aye ntem se de ai ta no enko
Recording in progress.
me pacho ye kom se wo question bi na bebusa wutimi busa estopo ana pagansa no makana ya kan ho asem se ya kase ye mani nyina awie ni ya kan ye wie ene ti me pamocho mu table so
Mama me feel say what time no nti me me da wi na wo ba na wa be wa ba answer questions ni nyina ama wo no
me pacho yo ye bedi kan ye be ye oats wonya oats na ejina dodo a wo pese milk no ye enti no we me fa ma fa oats kitwa bi a me de me fa nso me de we ni na susu ye eye just only 20 milligrams per ena me de ayem ti me de agu ensuo me de agu nsuo mu kakra be just 5 minutes per ena me be hwie nsuo na edi kan no said de on say oat etro kakra enti no me hwie nsuo na edi kan no efre ho se one fence ho ema ni 3 days dia me ni ensuo ni hwie ho cause me ya no na me de aye de me pesa me de milk wutimi de di bibia ti se wo de sa milk we edi wutimi de ye bibia me pa cho wutimi de go blender bia wo fie entie ne na wo de wo so ne so no wo de agu mu enti wo de gu mu no oat no nko na wo de cold water ensu a wo de ahye fridge because air true nti no ema ne nye trotro enche enti no de nsu ne hye fridge wo noa wo nsu kama na wo de asi wa manado na wo de ahye fridge na de me ko Ghana me ho pa ne say obu a ono nsu ni wi a no asan de go rubber bottle we no mo ma ye careful e wo sa rubber bottle no wo so no wi ya to twene ensan ye de eyisu bi enti no ensu no any cold water so when you cold water bet me the ice and your friends you pa na wo de aye enti no ensu no so no mafa just only a 200 ml any and I'm here go home was ensu no share fridge na the American say e si chere na ye dwane nti no Ghana your friend date a dry date ebi wo Ghana na me ka se bi ni ho ebi wo Ghana pa dry date instead say wo dey si chere say wo to oat milk na wo benya oat milk ato enso ye dey si chere agum ye de niema bebre agum enso ye just oat so hwe one ingredients wo no bebre enso ade oat we na utimi de milk no enti no we date enti se wo mpe date no ana wo anya date a bo modern se wo bepe ewo kakra bi na wo de agu nti we no teaspoon we na me de area me de agu mo no ti me pa cho me de agu mo awie me de ho ewo na agu ho ne na agu mu na me de me nsu aka ho ti de me hia ne se me kata so se wo pa na be use velina inse enya force ye woni tree ne wo ho se wo water ma wo do wa ni tree na benya ensuo na afiri na de aye se wo pa e ma na nya hwe ma na ye hwam kwa e ma odi guma enye hwe wa mfa huma enye hwe enti eni nti odi guma nsa wo de asi agu blender no na wa blend eni ti oat milk ne ye minim say you Yeboah Ghana nti ntimi ka say nti de sa sonye we ni na son so asi na son so asone so mie no na me call Ghana so me hu say ye wo we bia ya ye ni say omo aye ni say so ye de sa net we na ye de asen mu eno utimi utobia utimi sone so ba ku ntimi me de net na sone so your mom said yes so no make us a sound milk we no and so a oats any and one is was any Within 2 minutes, no, I oat milk away. Now, the debut me a memmy and say me via Yana metaka say, mentu the mesone yesono, mentu, because I'm more more any. Say me na media, mensoni so, me ye na na me de wa de kra media no, na me de any. Into anos mesone so no man mentu, emre no ka metimi de ai before from my mom say, who we are, who to. That's all more mom. Oat milk ni iron. Into what per bottle, come on. Now would be a boom. But and film, but more than some film, so try remove and find safe food per grass, not for boom. Glass bottle, not the boom fine. Within 5 minutes or so 3 minutes, once I hear oat milk, anyway. And see, yeah, bear among milk, no so. So, and would you goose your money among what's how would you goose your bear 5 minutes? And also, sana 10 minutes said a bear mre, amaw. And so we are no way sooner a decano at work. You're the boom, which here to be. Which you want to agree. Pamuchona and also the good Brenda. And now said Brenda, no, the young milk couldn't be until said that wouldn't say what the milk. But more than say with the warm water, a big boom. Nowadays, our room as a wire of milk. When it and found with the cold water now, a ensure Ubebua pipe and I will sure will be a witty maybe a year. I am more milk. And once away 500 meters me to into 250 milk water and mafa. This may for just only 50 grams per and I'm a year I'm on because my person me yak it to heavy. And also no pa, no so the honey. The same, either so befa honey and I saw befa date. Na date ya na a baby shame, who is a bunny free mo. A baby shame 2 ye free mo. Not as a would ya tomb. No, I ain't honey and I'm a dear woman. And also the same thing says a whoop pair. A Velina incense now, Babia Koduma Ghana, airful. 1 pair no so you will need 3 no ho, and also tar now the goose you must so now the sijaso. Now the crab is open so guma. A kitsu every night is so say a beman I ham, and I so benya who wants a woman proper milk. No, so I am Miss. The baby is here. Acho me di su kitwa bi gu me ho se. When say wait, samo clothes me the yellow ice cream. Put me the yellow pano. Bibia wo de milk ye no. Ubet me de we smoke ya wo ye no. Aye. We utia wo de agum. Ene. Uchimu wia eno so ntu enye mra we no so timi yu so amo no uso ni wia utimi di use eye any salad dressing na wo pe ana se utimi di yes smoothie said na doctor kano eye nuts ntu ntu ewu ahode wo mo still ubetimi di aye bibi foforo me ye wia me fast strawberry ne mango na me di afra na me di aye smoothie se wo ye ni na se bia went man enyi so a eno aso ape container nice na wa hwie agum se de na de ahye fridge na se you know betimi ayi so me so ne so na me hwie agu we na kata so betimi ayi so no next time de be ya de enti eno so amo milk no so na ya ya wi no wahu when say ubo sa milk we ya said de tie no sa anya no so no etie so if you want the bottle kama but mom said this it a cream nice I will bet me di edi bibia ubet me anya almond milk or cook oat milk ato ewo refi shop ni di okumase ne boarding so se wokoto oat na wa bet me aye I'll be na bebre every mu so aduro bia ni wa na wa ye wa di aduro bia ni but you say we are 3 days what me share fridge mu for 3 days o kata so kama kube enio kube na meka se adwan no ma mfani na we kwata pe na mekitwa entu twitwa ne nketwa na kube no kwa na wo de warm water de beye said ye oil na ewo mu no enna but they just warm water and a beye and also yes 200 extra and also do a war and I say date na make am wasem and on a beye coconut milk. Kube di Yeboah Ghana enti ese da bia. Wo ye ya wutime no. Eni. Kube no surume wi a eno se metime hata me dry ne sa me ye paano a na me de egum na me de aye me paano time.
Amen.
Doctor, pacho ye time ninti no. Ese nyame adom.
Less than 30 minutes, what may I milk a hot woman's?
Me pacho ai.
I better was a baby. Oh, yenny and any pie tax me back. Such na yen child lecture no. Now, some bachelors and yes, no idea, nepa. And Yapona me no bacasa.
Me pacho.
I get too short of party. But it was a pa. For an India make way and said there's no preservatives. Before dear, you have cran preservatives. I want the good uses. And then yet, we are near Barbara, back Ghana, Ninana, I am near London. One of the near maybe Gumoa, specifically MY man. And say, possible, then a mamma. Ne handwriting so ofe nkanka banku abomuno edegu banku so no wo ye bi wo ade so tese ya wa obafa ne hye enti se nyanya late dia ne ya twa lecture no mu pen nanka ye de kina nwumra ne nyina ma na fe wa dada ne nsa me ya we America we wo say be di 3 days what me aye me nsa obetim so aye many more to say cashew no ne different
Yes.
home pe we ya utimi away from what would me for. Yeah, the mamma say bebre, says a time no call. And yeah, miss your questions. But a man be person won't be some questions. Would the consume for how long? Well, I don't know, we should say instead of blender. And in the MAP, yeah, they are not me. Yeah, I any you all say possible, man, no, I didn't know any other commitments there. Yɛbɛma mo ho no ɔkyena nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛtoa so yɛbɛda mo ase pii kwadwo ame sɛ yɛbɛpɔn yɛde bɛsi ha na abɔ 9 na yɛatoa so the next day yɛda mo ase IT4 Amen.